We know in Canada, 1 in 4 Canadians skips their pill, doesn't fill out a prescription because it's too expensive. So to be able to announce to Canadians that we are forcing the Liberal government to move forward to cover 2 classes of drugs with a single-payer public program to cover contraceptives and diabetes is historic. We're proud of that. It's going to mean for a lot of people, for millions of Canadians, they're going to be able to save their money. They're going to be able to stay healthier. For people living with diabetes, this is a life-saving and very hopeful message to them. For them, many people are not taking the medication they need. They're not taking their insulin, they're not getting their blood tested, and it's costing them thousands of dollars out of pocket that they just can't afford. And so for those Canadians right now who are hearing this, we're going to give you some hope. We're going to cover diabetes medication across this country. It's going to save people money, it's going to keep them healthier, and it's going to take some of the burden off of our healthcare system. Because we know what happens when people don't take the medication they need. They end up getting more and more sick, and they end up in the emergency room. So we're going to save people. For people who need contraceptives, one of my dear friends who used to work at a women's clinic tells me that for the days that they would provide contraceptives, people would wait for hours and hours in line to get access to contraceptives. And that often they would run out of contraceptives before serving everyone in line. This is going to mean for a lot of people real access to the right to choose. Not just a right, but access to that right. And we firmly believe in it, and we're very proud that we can deliver contraceptive coverage across the country. We've also been able to force this government to move ahead with legislation that clearly, specifically will cite single-payer, universal and public, and the Canada Health Act, and the principles that guide the Canada Health Act, which reinforce public single-payer Pharmacare. This is something that we force the Liberals to do, and let it be known that this is not a coincidence that the Liberals have promised this for 30 years and broken that promise. And it is no coincidence that now they are moving ahead with the first national Pharmacare program because New Democrats forced them to do so. This is not something Liberals are going to do anyways. This is not something that they wanted to do and we sped it up. We forced them to do something they were never going to do otherwise. And we know the Conservatives, where they stand on this. They want to cut healthcare. They want to cut dental care. They want to cut Pharmacare. They want to cut investments that make people's lives better. That's what Conservatives do. Ask anyone who lives in a Conservative province, Conservatives cut healthcare, education, everything that families and workers need. It's no different at the federal level. That's exactly what they want to do. So we are going to continue to push forward and make sure people can get some relief, get some break, and put money back in their pockets. I also want to talk about the Liberals' recent legislation. They finally announced steps to move forward on online harm. They promised to do so 100 days after the election. Now we're at almost 800 days. Their inaction has meant that kids were harmed, that kids actually were exploited online because they failed to act. So of course we support action to keep kids safe online. We know that there's so much danger and harm to kids happening online. We want to prevent that. Of course, look at the details of the legislation, but this general principle is something that we support. What we're concerned about, though, is that Conservatives don't want to protect kids and instead want to cater to billionaires like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg who have no interest in protecting kids, who have allowed online harm to continue and have not put in place any safeguards to protect kids. So that's something that Conservatives are going to have to answer to families and to kids why they would rather protect Elon Musk than children being exploited online.